Alright, settle in, turn down the lights if you dare, because tonight, we're diving deep into the kind of footage that sticks with you long after the screen goes dark. These are 7 scary videos that will haunt you tonight. We're talking about those moments caught on camera that defy easy explanation, the kind that make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and question what's really out there, lurking just beyond our understanding, or sometimes, horrifyingly, right in our own homes. These aren't just jump scares. These are insidious little glimpses into the unsettling, the paranormal, the downright terrifying. Each clip we're about to explore has that particular brand of unease, that slow burn dread that creeps into your mind and plants a seed of fear. You'll find yourself replaying them, wondering about the stories behind the shadows, the whispers, the movements that just shouldn't be. It's one thing to hear a spooky story, but it's another entirely to see something, even through a lens that suggests the veil between our world and something else is thinner than we'd like to believe. So take a deep breath. Try to steady your nerves. We're going on a journey through 7 distinct encounters, each more chilling than the last. From the silent dread of an empty hallway to the unnerving sounds that pierce the quiet of the night, these videos are curated to unsettle you, to make you think twice about that creak in your floorboards or that flicker in your peripheral vision. Prepare yourselves, because what you're about to witness might just change the way you see the shadows in your own home. Let's get started if you think you're ready. Imagine this. It's late, the kind of quiet that settles over a house when everyone else is asleep, or perhaps when no one else is even there. The camera, maybe a security feed or just someone filming for reasons unknown, is pointed down a long, dimly lit hallway. For several long moments, absolutely nothing happens. You see the mundane details, a closed door at the end, maybe a picture frame on the wall, the faint pattern of the wallpaper. The silence is what gets you first. It's not a peaceful silence, but a heavy, expectant one. You're almost holding your breath, waiting, though you're not sure for what. It's the kind of stillness that feels wrong, like the air itself is charged. And then, just as you're starting to wonder if anything will happen at all, a darkness begins to coalesce. It's not just a trick of the light, not a passing car's headlights. This is something more substantial, yet utterly without form. It emerges from one side of the hallway, a deep, person-shaped shadow, darker than the ambient dimness around it. It doesn't walk, it glides, moving with an unnatural smoothness that sends a shiver right down your spine. There's no sound, no footfall, just this silent, ominous presence making its way down the hall, perhaps towards the camera, perhaps towards an unsuspecting room. The sheer audacity of its appearance in that heavy silence is what makes it so terrifying, a stark violation of the ordinary. Now, dolls. For some, they're cherished childhood companions. For others, well, they're vessels for the uncanny. In this particular video, we're introduced to a doll, likely an antique, propped up on a shelf or a dresser in an otherwise ordinary room. It has those glassy, unblinking eyes that seem to follow you, a painted-on smile that feels more like a smirk. The camera is static, perhaps set up by someone who's already had their suspicions, someone who's felt that unnerving sensation of being watched by this inanimate object. Again, we have that period of stillness, the mundane backdrop of a bedroom, lulling you into a false sense of security. Then it happens. It's subtle at first, so subtle you might miss it if you blink. A tiny shift. The doll's head, which was facing slightly to the left, now appears to be angled almost imperceptibly more towards the camera. Or maybe an arm, resting by its side, lifts a fraction of an inch, then settles back down. There's no string, no visible mechanism, no gust of wind. The person filming often gasps, or you hear a shaky, whispered, "Did you see that?" It's the sheer impossibility of it, the defiance of physics, that's so deeply unsettling. This object, made of porcelain and fabric, is exhibiting independent movement, and the implications of that are enough to make your blood run cold. There's something inherently primal about a deep, dark forest, isn't there? The way the trees loom, the way sounds get muffled or distorted. This video takes us into such a place, perhaps filmed by hikers, explorers, or even paranormal investigators. Initially, you hear the natural sounds, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of distant birds, the crunch of footsteps on the forest floor. It's peaceful, almost idyllic. The camera pans around, showing a dense canopy, gnarled tree trunks, and the general quietude of nature undisturbed. It's the kind of place you go to escape, to find solitude. But then, carried on the breeze, or perhaps emanating from the very air itself, you begin to hear something else. Faint at first, almost indistinguishable from the wind sighing through the branches. But as the person filming quiets down, maybe holds the camera steadier, the sounds become clearer, whispers. They're not distinct words, not in any language you can recognize, but sibilant, hushed tones that seem to surround the microphone. It's as if the forest itself is murmuring secrets, or something within the forest is. The feeling of being watched intensifies, the sense that you've stumbled into a place you don't belong, and that the ancient, unseen inhabitants are making their displeasure known. It's a chilling reminder that some places hold energies we can't comprehend. This one, often happens at night when the darkness outside presses against the fragile barrier of our windows, turning them into these black mirrors reflecting our own anxious faces until something else looks back. The setup is usually pretty innocuous. Someone filming inside their home. Maybe they're just documenting something completely unrelated. Or, maybe they've heard a noise outside and are cautiously investigating. The camera pans towards a window, showing the inky blackness of the night beyond. You see the reflection of the room, the person holding the camera, nothing really out of the ordinary. You might even be expecting like a raccoon or a stray cat. And then, for just a fleeting second, it's there, a face, pressed against the glass, or maybe just hovering beyond it. It's rarely clear, often distorted by the darkness or the quality of the footage, but it's unmistakably a face. Sometimes it's pale with these dark, hollow eyes. Other times it's more bestial or just wrong. The shock is, instantaneous. The person filming usually screams or fumbles with the camera, and by the time they regain composure and point it back, the face is gone, vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only a racing heart and the terrifying certainty of what was just seen. The violation of that safe boundary, the window, is what makes this so profoundly disturbing. This category of video taps into that primal fear of an invisible force, something you can't see but can definitely witness the effects of. Imagine a room, seemingly empty. The camera might be set up on a tripod, specifically to capture suspected activity, or it could be accidental. For a while, nothing. Just a static shot of a living room, a kitchen, a child's playroom. You see the furniture, the everyday objects, all still and silent. The atmosphere, however, often feels charged, like the calm before a storm. You find yourself scanning every inch of the frame looking for something. Then an object moves. A cup slides across a table with no one near it. A door firmly closed slowly creaks open or slams shut with violent force. Toys in a playroom might suddenly activate, or books fly off a shelf one by one. There's no earthquake, no draft, no logical explanation for these occurrences. It's poltergeist activity in its purest, most unsettling form. The dread comes from the unknown intelligence behind it. What wants these objects to move? Why is it making its presence known in such a disruptive, often menacing way? It's the ultimate loss of control, the realization that something unseen shares your space and can interact with your world at will. Sound can be incredibly evocative, and honestly, few sounds are as emotionally charged or as unsettling as a disembodied cry, especially when its source is unknown and seemingly supernatural. These videos often take place in locations with a history, old houses, abandoned buildings, or even just a quiet suburban home where something tragic may have once occurred. The footage might be dark, the camera operator moving cautiously through rooms, maybe investigating strange noises they've been hearing for some time. The initial audio is usually just ambient sounds, footsteps, maybe the wind. Then you hear it. A faint sobbing, or sometimes a more distinct mournful wail. It seems to come from just around the corner, or perhaps from the room upstairs. It's undeniably human in its sorrow, yet there's no one there. The person filming will often call out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" only to be met with more heart-wrenching cries or sometimes a chilling silence before the crying resumes, perhaps closer this time. It feels incredibly personal, as if you're intruding on a deep, unending grief. Is it a residual haunting? An emotional echo trapped in time? Or is it an intelligent entity trying to communicate its sorrow or lure you closer? The sound itself burrows into your mind, making you feel an empathy mixed with profound fear. There's something deeply symbolic about a door. It's a barrier, a point of transition, a guardian of whatever lies beyond. So when a door opens on its own, especially in a way that defies simple explanation like a draft or a poorly hung frame, it carries a significant weight of unease. In these videos, the camera is often focused on a particular door, maybe one that has been problematic before, or one leading to a room that feels off. You see it there, closed, solid, secure. The tension builds in the stillness, the anticipation of movement, and then it begins. Sometimes it's a slow, deliberate creak as the door inches open, revealing the darkness or the empty space beyond. Other times it might swing open more assertively, as if pushed by an unseen hand. There's no one visible on either side. The person filming might be holding their breath, or you might hear their nervous whispers. What's particularly chilling is the implication: is something coming out, or is it an invitation to enter? The mystery of what compelled that door to move, what unseen force exerted its will upon a solid object, is what leaves that lingering fear. It suggests that the boundaries we rely on aren't as secure as we think. And there you have it. 7 glimpses into the unexplained, 7 moments that challenge our sense of reality and security. From shadows that move with silent intent to objects animated by unseen forces, these videos serve as unsettling reminders that we may not be alone, even in the most familiar of places. The fear they evoke isn't just about what you see on screen. It's about the questions they plant in your mind, the possibilities they open up about the world around us, and the thin veil that might separate us from something else. It's easy to dismiss these things in the bright light of day, to rationalize and explain away. But when night falls, when the house is quiet, those images, those sounds can resurface. That creak from downstairs, that flicker of movement you thought you saw in the corner of your eye, suddenly takes on a new, more sinister meaning. The power of these videos lies in their ability to tap into those primal fears, the ones that have been with humanity since we first huddled around fires, wary of the darkness beyond the light. So as you go about your evening, perhaps try not to think too much about that door that sometimes creaks, or that shadow that plays tricks on your eyes. But then again, be careful tonight. You never know what might be watching you. Thanks for joining me, and try to get some sleep, if you can.